Hello folks, it's Johnny again, and I have a couple of mixes here in my inbox, so let's check them out. Get our hands dirty. First one is by Aniokai Tsurukovic. I think at this point I need to put the names in the description again. I'm just gonna butcher them and no one's gonna know who I'm talking about. So, yeah. Okay, these cymbals are a little bit too sizzly. They have a little bit too much top end and they don't quite melt into everything very nicely. So you may want to take down that top end boost you put on the overheads or whatever it is that you did. There's a lot of stuff going on, like instrument and track wise. So yeah, I think the problem you're currently having is giving everything its proper place. What I'm noticing is the lead guitars kind of fight with the rhythm guitars for the same space. You want to make sure that you EQ appropriately to give the leads their place and have the rhythm guitars stay out of the way. Especially with this kind of style, you notice the rhythm guitars, they are more kind of wall of sound that give the whole song its basis. And the lead guitars is probably what you want to be more upfront in this situation. So you could boost that mid-range on the leads a little bit more and carve that out on the rhythm guitars just a little bit more, perhaps rather in the upper mid-range. And you should actually be good. Let's see about the low end. Yeah, it's not too bad. Nothing is being masked. But the bass guitar seems, for one, a little bit loud, and the low end seems to be focused a little bit high in frequency range. So you may want to focus more around that 100 Hertz range with the bass guitar, so it has a really juicy and rich low end. Right now I feel it's a little bit focused on the higher side, like 150 to 200, and that can tend to sound a little bit boomy in a not so good way, but again, it's not too bad. It's just a little bit of tweaking to balance it out a little bit better. With the headphones, I also noticed the rhythm guitars seem to have a very bright character to them, to kind of balance out the synth pads, which have a more lower mids, richer character to them. Yeah, again, there's just a lot going on, and balancing that out is not easy. So you definitely didn't make it easy on yourself here with this song. I would probably recommend really do it step by step. First of all, mute the synth pads and lower the rhythm guitars, have the lead guitars come up front, and then bring in the rhythm guitars to support just the whole foundation of the song. And when you notice the rhythm guitars are fighting with the lead guitars for space, then first of all EQ the rhythm guitars to be in a good space. And once that is done, bring up the synth pads. So they just bring in this extra amount of atmosphere and 3D space. So really in this situation you have to make compromises. You can't have everything in the same space. Next one is by Dominic Dus. And he says he's having trouble with the low end. Let's try to get out. Okay, I know my room well enough that there's a lot of boominess going on with the kick drum, but to be sure, let's check the headphones. Yeah, your kick drum is pretty all over the place down there. First of all, in this kind of situation, when you have really fast-paced double kick drum action going on, you don't actually want to have that much low end, because you notice it gets out of control pretty quickly. So filter some of that low end. If you want to have a rough number, let's say 40 to 50 hertz, so that all that wobbly boominess in the really low sub range is not messing with anything. That already helps to get it a little bit tighter. And then perhaps a little bit of a boost around 60 hertz to 70 hertz, also not too low so it doesn't just wobble around. And what can also help is using a transient designer and taking down the sustain. So you don't have too much of a boomy tail, but it gets cut off and you have a nice, short, tight, clicky attack. And then also with compression, it can make a difference if you put a compressor before or after EQ. If you put it after the EQ, so after you boosted the low end and shaped it and whatnot, then it can actually help to still keep it contained and keep it tight. If you put it before the EQ, then some of that wobbliness may still be brought out again by the EQ. So it's something you can experiment with. I think it could already help. And then once the kick drum is in a good place, you need to check the low end of the bass again, because there was not much I could discern here. There was a lot of low end going on, but that bass was mostly distortion in the center of the mix. Wait, let's check it out again a little bit. Yeah, the bass has a lot of lower mid-range and mid-range distortion in general, but that sub-range where you actually need it the most is not very strong. Or at least it doesn't seem to be very strong, because the kick drum is just wobbling all over the place down there. I would recommend to use the dual track method for bass, so you have one track just for a clean low end and the other track for the distorted mid-range, and that way you you can do whatever you want to the distorted mid-range to make it sound gritty and grindy however you want. And the clean low-end track just stays clean low-end. So it will cleanly rich up the whole mix without being a complete distorted mess. It's very useful. Do not underestimate that procedure. Yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. Perhaps the snare could come up a little bit just to smack through a little bit more, but otherwise I have no complaints. Next one is by Sindri Por Hitason, something or other. Forgive me. I have no complaints so far. I think this sounds perfectly enjoyable. I don't really have any tips to give you. I mean, everything I would say is completely personal taste. Objectively speaking, this is perfectly fine. I'd say good job. Well done. Continue doing what you do. Okay, let's keep it with that for now. These 3 mixes. So this video doesn't get too long. I still have 2 more mixes here in my inbox for tomorrow or some other day of the week. I will definitely still get to it. If you want to send me your mixes for review, send it to johnnymixcrit@gmail.com. And yeah, and I hope Gmail doesn't mess around. Hang on. The other day, I actually found Gmail is being weird. Sometimes it sends these emails to some other folder. Like here, one is in updates. Okay. And there are 4 in the folder promotions. Okay. Why? Okay, so gotta keep that in mind. There's still more to come. Then I hope you enjoyed this one, and I shall see you next time.